What's up, everybody? Christine here. I am finally back home. I'm back in Florida. I'm back in the United States. So now I get to manage all of those lovely things about life that I've got to put off for a little bit while I've just been traveling and having a good time. And one of those things that I get to manage now that I'm back home is my health insurance. So yeah, one of the more common questions that I got asked when I told people that I was resigning from my job was, what are you gonna do for health insurance? Me having a rare illness means health insurance is pretty important. I need health insurance, and when I quit my job, I wasn't directly going back into work, so I didn't have the option of just having a new health insurance through my new employer. And I live in the United States where you don't just get health insurance, so yeah, I had to look into something else. There are a few different options of what you can do for health insurance when you're not on your employer's plan, or if you know you're single and you don't have a spouse to be on their plan and you're just a little bit too old for being on your parents' plan. So yeah, there's a few options, and what I decided to do was do Cobra. So I'm going to talk about Cobra in this video. Two things that I would like to preface with this is, number one, I am not a lawyer. I am not an expert on this stuff, and the things that I talk about in this video are just going to be from my layman's perspective of understanding this stuff. I should not be your final source of information for making a decision on your health insurance. Not me. You need to find your information somewhere else. I am not responsible for any decisions that you make on your health insurance. I am just a person who's trying to understand this stuff and talking about things from my point of view of understanding. The second thing is, I am fully aware that there are other options other than Cobra. And for most other people, the other options are probably a better choice. For me, in my scenario, in my circumstance, in my world, Cobra was the best decision for me, and I have my reasons for it. I don't need to get into them completely, but Cobra was the best decision for me for right now until at least the end of 2019, and I am going to start looking into my options for next year, but that's another thing for me to deal with on my time off that I'm home right now. But for right now, I need to sign up for Cobra. So what is Cobra? Cobra stands for the Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act. Oh, by the way, if I look down, it's because I am reading from this lovely website. It is from the Department of Labor, which gives information on Cobra. So I will link it in the description down below so you can read it at your own pleasure and desire if you would like to. So yeah, that's what Cobra stands for. Basically, Cobra is an option of where you can continue with your employer's healthcare coverage when you are no longer working for your employer. People that can get Cobra are if you resigned, if you've been laid off, basically anytime you're no longer working for your job, unless you were let go for something like gross misconduct, then you might not be eligible for Cobra. So don't get let go for things like that. Other examples of people who are eligible for Cobra are, say, you are married and you are under your spouse's health insurance, and now you are no longer married and you can no longer be under your spouse's health insurance. You can pay for Cobra. So it gives you an option to continue healthcare. And the other example I can think of is, say you are a child and you are on your parents' health insurance, and now you're just a little bit too old to continue on your parents' health insurance. You do have the option to pay for Cobra, and you can continue with your healthcare coverage. So one of the really nice things about Cobra is that it's an option out there. It is an option for you to at least continue on with your healthcare. It is not the best option in the world. It has a lot of downfalls, but it is an option out there to continue on with your healthcare coverage. One of the biggest downfalls about Cobra is that it costs a lot of money. Now that you are no longer working for your job, you no longer get the benefits of your job, you don't any longer have your employer paying a portion of your healthcare premiums, which means you have to pay the entire monthly premium to continue with your healthcare coverage, plus some other, I think it's like a 2% fee, I don't know. It is pricey. There is no denying that. This is like the biggest downfall of Cobra, is it's very expensive, and it sucks that you have to pay so much money to continue with healthcare coverage. But it, again, is healthcare coverage. So for me, if I understood things correctly, Cobra is going to cost me about $500 a month, which is actually kind of cheap, and that's because my health insurance through my job was actually kind of cheap. A lot of people are gonna have to pay more money than that because a lot of people's health insurance costs more than what my job's health insurance cost. And do I want to pay that? Not really, but I need health insurance, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Again, for at least like right now, that's what my options are. So yeah, that's it sucks, but how long can you stay on Cobra? Cobra can be used for up to 18 months following your discontinuation of coverage through your health insurance. So you have a solid year and a half to figure out what else you might want to do for health insurance and find another option, which I think is a nice buffer. And in reality, like, Cobra's like expensive, so to be on it for 18 months is not an ideal scenario at all. But again, it's a buffer, so it's nice to have it as an option. From what I was reading about, there are circumstances where you can get it even longer than that, like if you become disabled or something, but those circumstances are probably something that is not going to be in my life. So in my mind, I have 18 months to get on another health plan, and hopefully in 2020 I'm going to be on a different health plan, but we'll see. So yeah, the last thing I'm going to talk about with is how to sign up for Cobra, which is the fun stuff that I get to deal with now that I am home. I technically lost my insurance coverage on September 1st. Today is September 26th, so I am uninsured right now. I don't have health insurance. I have not yet signed up for Cobra. And I thought, me being away in Europe for almost 3 weeks, I would come home and see my Cobra paperwork there, and I would be able to fill it out and make my payment and officially be able to say that I have healthcare coverage. But life does not work that way. It can never be that simple. To my surprise, all of this time that I was away, I haven't gotten my Cobra paperwork, which doesn't make sense. So I called on Tuesday. I had to call several people until I got to somebody who got an answer, and they told me that they don't know if it's been mailed yet, and they would reprint the papers and definitely mail it, and she was going to get permission to have the papers emailed to me so I can fax them back and have my Cobra coverage as soon as possible. And of course, you know, it's been over 48 hours now. I have not gotten an email, and it's annoying. And so looking on this website right now, from what I understand, the company actually, they have to give you your Cobra paperwork within 14 days of the end of your coverage. It's been 26 days. Where's my paperwork? So you do have 60 days to make your decision to go on Cobra. And again, from my understanding, it is the later of the 2 days of either the discontinuation of your coverage or from the date of the letter that you get in the mail regarding your Cobra information. And the really, really nice thing about Cobra is your coverage is retroactive. Once I make my payment and it's processed and whatever, my coverage will be effective September 1st. So any healthcare stuff that I use right now will be able to be processed through Cobra and it will be covered, but I can only imagine it's going to be a pain in the butt because technically they have nothing to process right now. But this is really good for people if they don't know if they want to continue health insurance or not, and they're typically healthy and they don't use health insurance. You have 60 days, so if something comes up, you get in a car accident or whatever, and it's within that 60-day window, you can retroactively sign up for Cobra and still get coverage, which is another nice thing. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, like nobody knows what Cobra is. So when I had to order my infusion supplies this month, I told them that technically no, right now I don't have insurance coverage, but I'm gonna make my Cobra payment, and once I make my Cobra payment and it's all processed and all that good stuff, it will retroactively be covered. And the person I was on the phone with was just like, I'm taking notes because I don't know what this Cobra stuff is. And it kind of blows my mind that people haven't heard of Cobra, especially if you work with insurance. Like, this is your job. You should know something about Cobra. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't expect everyone to know everything about Cobra because I didn't know everything and I'm still learning things. But I feel like if it's your job dealing with insurance, you might want to educate yourself on Cobra. But that is just my opinion, so hey, whatever. Yeah, so I am waiting for my Cobra paperwork so I can be insured again and not in this period of like, I don't have health insurance. So yeah, nothing goes smoothly. I don't know where my paperwork is. I'm probably like the only person out there who is like eagerly waiting to make their payment to continue on with their healthcare coverage, but I am, because that's what happens when you have a chronic illness. That is my video on Cobra and what I'm doing for healthcare now that I am an unemployed individual. And I hope you learned something. I hope it was educational for you. I hope everything that I said was correct and it was all to the best of my understanding. And if you enjoyed it, if you learned something or, you know, like anything, whatever, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow me on my adventures in life and traveling and work and healthcare and chronic illnesses and all of that fun stuff. But until next time,